Welcome. Welcome. Good evening. Hi. How are ya? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to be your host tonight. My name is Nanaba Duncan. I am the host of Fresh Air on CBC Radio 1. Oh, all right, okay. Thank you if you are a CBC listener. That's great. So the show airs every Saturday and Sunday from 6 to 9 a.m. on 99.1 FM. Now, I'm very happy to be hosting the 2018 YWCA Toronto Women of Distinction Awards. This is my first year hosting this event, and I've already had the pleasure of meeting some of the women, or all of the women, and I'm happy to celebrate this year's recipients and the significant difference that they've made to women's and girls' lives. Now, I know we're about to celebrate a group of women, a select group of women, but I just want to take a moment to talk about everyone here recognizing themselves. Some of us are so good at supporting and celebrating the excellence of other people, and not so good at doing it for themselves. So, I just want to take a moment for you and me to see ourselves as excellent too. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever work you're doing, it matters. And it may seem cheesy, but I think you'll agree when I say you've got to be able to see yourself as great if you want to be great. Does that make sense? So give it up for yourselves. You're amazing. I'm amazing. All right, so we're going to focus on the women we're here to celebrate. I want you to join me in welcoming one of the co-chairs of this year's Women of Distinction Planning Committee, someone who has worked very hard to make this evening a success, Barb Keenan.
Thank you, Nanaba, and good evening, everyone. So what fabulous energy in the room. And it was great to hear all those cheers at the beginning because there's going to be some audience participation in my remarks. So before we start, though, I do want to start the evening by acknowledging the land on which we are holding our event. It's the territory of the Huron-Wendat, Petun First Nations, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit River. So thank you to everyone for being here. Your presence here tonight is a testament to the impact we can have when we come together to transform lives. In addition to being a celebration of amazing women, and just wait, you will be blown away. This is YWCA's Toronto's largest fundraiser for the year. We hope to raise over $800,000 to help women and girls transform their lives. And this is made possible through the efforts of so many individuals and corporations. And to all of you in the room and the corporations and tables and people who bought tickets, thank you so much. And we just want to acknowledge some of those up on the board. This is a room who's really good at the audience participation. Thank you. So this one is probably one of the most important. All those people you saw walking around with white shirts, they're our volunteers. We have over 150 of them, and they have contributed countless hours leading up to and including this evening. And it would just be impossible to put this event on without them. So thank you for them. And in particular, I want to acknowledge the efforts of the Selection and Planning Committee. So I'm going to ask them to stand up, and I know it's a dark room. But if they are near you, they are truly inspired. I am truly inspired by their dedication, relentless determination, and it's an absolute privilege to work with them in advocating for women's leadership to build a stronger and better community. So ladies, thank you very much. I like the woo-woos, that's good. In addition to providing 32 programs to women and girls across our city, YWCA Toronto is the leading voice for women's rights. Tonight, we honor 8 women who exemplify the resolve, passion, and intelligence it takes to advance our YWCA Toronto movement and transform the lives of women and girls. This year's Women of Distinction are leaders, pioneers, and champions. They are examining and challenging systemic discrimination, advocating for marginalized women and children, and creating opportunities for women and girls to excel. These incredible women, each singularly outstanding through their unwavering commitment to helping other women and girls, are implementing real positive change in their communities and beyond. Now, I'd like to invite our first award presenter and my co-chair, Tamara Kinsman-Barry, Vice President, Employee Technology Experience, Enterprise Services at Sun Life Financial.
Thanks very much, Barb. Hello, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here representing Sun Life Financial as the presenting sponsor. First of all, congratulations to all of tonight's Women of Distinction. I'm energized and inspired by the extraordinary women we are recognizing and honoring here. Tonight's event plays a vital role in helping shine a spotlight on their incredible work and their outstanding commitments to improving the lives of women and girls in so many ways. To all of the winners, your leadership and dedication helps ensure positive and long-term change for our community and inspires all of us to get involved and to contribute. At Sun Life, a diverse and inclusive workplace is at the core of our values and ambition. Not only is this the right thing to do, it's a key driver in creating exceptional experiences for our clients and leads to innovation and sustainability. We strive to build a brighter future for the communities in which we live and work, just like the brighter futures of the women we're celebrating this evening are building for their communities and beyond. Tonight, I have the great privilege of presenting the 2018 Woman of Distinction Award to Health Sciences to Dr. Milica Radicic. Dr. Radicic is an award-winning scientist and engineer who is revolutionizing the field of cardiovascular tissue engineering at the University of Toronto. She serves as a brilliant role model for young women aspiring to advance in the health sciences and engineering. Now join me as we watch a video to learn a little bit more about Milica.
As an award-winning engineer, academic, and researcher, Dr. Milica Radicic is both a door opener and a role model for women in science. Milica is an international leader in the field of cardiovascular tissue engineering. Her innovative research may revolutionize treatment for people suffering from myocardial infarction and congestive heart failure. Her accomplishments are far-reaching, and she is recognized as a mentor through her teaching, supervision, and personal interactions. Milica was bestowed the Women in Science and Engineering Breaking the Glass Ceiling Award, an honor generated from nominations by her graduate students. Milica recognizes the importance of women's contributions in a male-dominated industry. As chair of the membership committee for Termis America, she successfully advocated for a gender lens to be applied to the selection of keynote speakers, award winners, and new fellows. Milica was on the board of directors of the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers and the Women in Engineering Committee, and has been widely recognized for her contribution to engineering and gender equity. In 2006, she was featured on the cover of Sybil E. Hatch's book, Changing Our World: True Stories of Women Engineers. The Canada Science and Technology Museum has featured Milica's accomplishments as part of its Canadian Women and Innovation website. She was awarded Queen Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee Medal and Fellowship in the Royal Society of Canada. Milica continues to make important advances for engineering, health, and women. Through her work, she is inspiring the next generation of women engineers.
On behalf of Sun Life Financial, it's my honor to present this award to Dr. Melissa Radisic.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank YWCA for this wonderful recognition. I'm truly honored. I would also like to thank Dina Mon for the nomination, my department chairs, Grant Allen and Warren Chen, for the support, and many, many wonderful students and colleagues who make our work possible. And if we look back, despite the significant efforts of the past decades, women occupy only 1 in 5 positions in STEM fields in Canada. And messages in popular culture that we can even find on baby onesies like pretty like mommy or smart like daddy implicitly teach our girls that science is not for them. And so when I think of myself as a young child, I was fascinated by the night sky and the multitude of stars that we can observe. And I imagined that I would become an astrophysicist. Then somehow I got a hold of a microscope and I saw that there was another equally amazing universe to be explored. It's just that it is very, very small. And truly, to this day, that same childish curiosity fuels my excitement every time I see under a microscope how we manage to turn stem cells into living and beating heart tissue. It is time for us to validate every girl's excitement about uncovering the beauty and mystery of the natural world. And I would therefore like to thank YWCA Toronto on their efforts to create dedicated spaces for girls to explore their interests in math, science, and technology. And I would also like to invite all of us to support them in this effort. Thank you very much.
And now, please welcome Erica Bodie, Senior Consultant, Willis Towers Watson.
At Willis Towers Watson, we share a commitment to supporting the communities in which we live and work. We are proud to sponsor the 2018 YWCA Toronto Women of Distinction Awards and lend our support to helping women and girls achieve equality, economic sustainability, and lives free from violence. We are also committed to creating an inclusive work environment where everyone is heard, respected, and valued for who they are. We believe that the best ideas and discoveries are generated through a diverse mix of minds, backgrounds, and experiences, and we are delighted to present the next award to a woman who has worked tirelessly in pursuit of the same values. Our next Woman of Distinction Award recipient is a former educator and politician. Zenaina Akonde is a champion of the issues of equity, access, and outcomes for girls of all cultures and abilities through her community advocacy work. Last month, Mayor John Tory announced he will present Zenaina with the key to the city to honor her significant contributions to the City of Toronto. Many of these contributions impacted women and girls in our city.
A strong advocate for equity and social justice, Zenaina Akonde generates a tailwind of inspiration for all women. As an educator, policy shaper, and community advocate, Zenaina forged a career of groundbreaking accomplishments. Born in a family of educators, civic engagement has always been the fiber of her landscape. Her teaching career with the TDSB was vindication for her immigrant parents who were denied the right to teach in Canada. Injustices such as this emboldened her commitment to fairness as she went on to become an accomplished principal. In 1990, Zenaina became the first Black woman to be elected to the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. As Minister of Community and Social Services, she became the first Black woman to hold a cabinet position in Canada. She was instrumental in shaping public policies affecting the lives of marginalized women and led social welfare reform that increased social assistance benefits to women in shelters. As the parliamentary assistant to the Premier, She helped pass Ontario's first mandatory employment equity legislation, which institutionalized rights and broke down barriers for women in the workplace. Zanena also co-founded Tiger Lily, Ontario's first magazine for women of color. It was an empowering forum for women within the racialized, immigrant, and refugee community. In retirement, Zanena continues to be engaged in her community, lending her wisdom and her energies to various social justice initiatives. She is a valued and treasured elder on whose shoulders so many women will stand to achieve their deserved height in the world.
It is my pleasure to present the 2018 YWCA Woman of Distinction Award to Zanena Akonde.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you very much to the Y, because they're always there. They're always updating their services so that they respond to the needs of girls and women. I don't usually sound like this. I know some people are looking at me, but I'm doing the best I can. And so I'm particularly pleased to be able to accept an award from the Y, who read the society and the needs of women so well. I have to tell you, public service and social justice, there are people who oppose my views who have used other words to describe the things I do. They would call me an agitator, aggressive in their face, and I intend to be there. I was born in this city, in Kensington, and I was always told that if you work hard and you focus on something, you'll be able to achieve it. And when I moved into the work world, I realized that even though I should expect equity, I didn't find it. Even though I should be able to walk into our public services and see myself reflected somewhere, I didn't see it. Even though there were people who had worked hard and applied for roles, they were not able to achieve them because, oh, I don't know, they weren't the right fit. Well, I decided to change the sizing and to make sure that we were all the right fit. I must say, though, that I'm particularly proud of the new gust of women that are coming up. They are so much ahead of us. They are not seduced by promises. They want things to change, and they want them to change now. And so they go about it in aggressive and realistic ways. They're willing to do almost anything. And I applaud you. And I will be right behind you because your day to lead has come. Give them hell, girls. Give them hell.
And now let us welcome Heather McGregor, YWCA Toronto's Chief Executive Officer.
Good evening. Making Women Great Again. I'm glad I got a laugh. It sounds eerily familiar, doesn't it? It has been a wild year in politics and for women. And yet, the YWCA can relate to it, as we have been transforming the lives of women and girls since 1873. In the beginning, Mrs. Duncan Clark, Mrs. Clark Gamble, and Mrs. Casimir Zosky met together to respond to the plight of young women coming into the city to seek safe housing and employment. And this past year, social media has gone crazy with powerful stories generated by #MeToo and #TimesUp, where independent women and girls go by their own names and speak of issues that were for decades unspoken. What remains the same is that YWCA Toronto has always combined strong direct service programs and solutions with innovative advocacy efforts to change the systemic issues that have often kept women on the margins. Later this evening, you'll see a video that demonstrates the range of programs we offer across the city: housing options from shelters to permanent housing, employment opportunities that get women good-paying jobs, and programs that recognize that girls-only programming is important in supporting girls to become confident about their futures, and advocacy efforts to encourage voters in this next election to consider the vital importance of affordable and quality childcare and investments in safe, affordable, and supportive housing. Look at that, I got a laugh and applause. I'm on a roll. So by coming this evening, you are part of this women's movement that is making changes day by day and decade by decade. Thank you. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our next woman of distinction, Marcy Ponte, to you this evening. I know, because I've known her for years, she has been a champion for women in our community for many, many years. She is a wonderful example of a community builder.
Marcy Ponte understands the importance of giving voice to lived experience and observing how such energies can shape our communities. And she's been transformative and innovative in her dedication to rights and equity. Since 1999, Marcy has helmed the Working Women Community Center into a strong, vibrant organization. Her passion creates bridges to success for the many newcomer women welcomed by the center. In her work, she celebrates inclusion, civic engagement, and the brilliance of diversity. She was instrumental in creating the Rosina Shopkeepers Project, a community initiative honoring the legacy of Rosina Peluso, one of the many immigrant shopkeepers who made important contributions to our city. Her dedication is born out of personal experience. At 7, she came to Canada with her Portuguese parents. At 18, she joined the Cleaners Action Group, advancing the cause of newcomer office cleaners in Toronto. She was a union organizer for the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, as well as coordinator for the Labor Studies program for the Labor Council of Metro Toronto and York Region. Marcy has been an advisor on Premier Wynn's Roundtable on social services. She also facilitated the publication of the book Making the City: Women Who Made a Difference, a first-person account on the history of immigrant women in Toronto. In 2016, Marcy was awarded the Access, Equity, and Human Rights from the City of Toronto and is a recipient of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. In 2007, She received the Professional Excellence Award from the Federation of Portuguese Canadian Business and Professionals. Marcy steadfastly supports those around her and is a beacon for her community.
Welcome my friend Marcy Ponte, Women of Distinction Community Builder.
Well, Heather and I have actually known each other. Yeah, I'm short, sorry. Heather and I have actually known each other since about 1976, where we worked together for 2 years, and it feels like it was just yesterday, Heather. I'm really grateful to have friends who support me and the work that I do and believe that I deserve this kind of recognition. I want to thank my nominators, Merritt Stiles and Ann Ball, for nominating me, and Judith Ramirez, who's somewhere in the crowd, and Sita Ramkalawansing, who nominated me in years past. I also want to thank the the YWCA staff. You know, it's all a blur. Who have been incredibly supportive and who have made this experience incredibly amazing. To really enjoy the process and feel that what we've done is worth this award. While I'm grateful for the award, I'm only as good as the people who surround me at my center, the Working Women Community Center, and that being the fabulous management team who are here tonight, my board of directors, our volunteers, and our clients. I can only be as good as they are, and so I thank them. In Portuguese, there's a woman who is strong and resilient and fights for what she believes in is often called a mulher de guerra, a woman of war. Yay! This referring to a woman who is strong, fearless, and who fights for what she believes in. Having been called this several times, I wear it with a badge of honor because we at Working Women Community Center also believe that when women are strong, resilient, fearless, and not afraid to fight for what's right and just, we are all the better for it. So thank you so much for this honor.
And now, please welcome our next presenter, Noreen Marchand, partner, KPMG.
Having impact in our communities and engaging in important issues is something we're passionate about at KPMG. In keeping with these values, KPMG has been a long-time supporter of YWCA Toronto and the Women of Distinction Awards. It's said that anyone who wants to become an entrepreneur should get comfortable with the word no. But Canada's future economic prosperity depends upon innovative entrepreneurs like many of you here tonight, who know how to make the not so possible happen. They can attest to the fact that starting a business is incredibly challenging, regardless of the economic conditions. Keeping the business running and growing is just as tough, if not more so. It takes commitment, conviction, intensity, a positive nature, and a great deal of perseverance. Our Canadian entrepreneurs are resilient. They see barriers as challenges, their mistakes as learning opportunities, and they believe success is a byproduct of simple hard work, not luck, destiny, or chance. KPMG is proud to support the development, growth, and future success of female entrepreneurs and all of our people across Canada. I'm happy to present the next Woman of Distinction in the category of business. Since 2013, Julia Deans has been coaching and mentoring women entrepreneurs as the CEO of Futurepreneur Canada and has helped over 2,000 women launch new businesses. By connecting women, promoting their stories, and sourcing speaking opportunities for them at roundtables and national summits, Julia is changing the face of business in the country.
As CEO of Futurepreneur Canada, Julia Deans safeguards the aspirations of Canadian women entrepreneurs to ensure their futures are bright. Since 2013, she and her team have helped 2,000 women launch new businesses, counseling and training thousands more. Julia's passion is connecting people to the resources and opportunities they need to succeed. She is taking this passion into her role as CEO of the Canadian Children's Literacy Foundation, a new organization aiming to make Canadian children the most literate in the world. As CEO of Civic Action from 2005 to 2012, Julia led their efforts to increase visible minority leadership in the GTA through Diverse City. Julia's exceptional leadership has opened doors for many women, and she is dedicated to ensuring that women are represented at the highest levels of their organizations. In her early capacity as an equity-seeking lawyer, she helped advance the Native Women's Association of Canada's claim against the federal government for excluding women from the Charter of Rights, and was a Women's Legal Education and Action Fund volunteer. Her many awards are a keen representation of the impact of her work. She received the University of Toronto's Arbor Award and was recognized as a Woman of Influence Canadian Diversity Champion in 2012. She was also named one of Canada's most powerful women by the Women's Executive Network in 2014 and 2017, and served as Toronto Chair for the International Women's Forum. A true champion for women in business, Julia is paving the way for those following her and heralding their accomplishments and ideas as she goes.
Congratulations, Julia Deans, Woman of Distinction.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's such a beautiful video. Anyone working to improve the lives of girls and women knows that this award is a huge honor. I am very, very grateful to the YWCA Toronto and to my nominators, Anne Sado, Catherine Roche, and Sivan Pelvetsian, and so inspired by the other winners, past and present. 3 things have helped me to make an impact, and it's my opportunity and yours to provide these 3 things to all girls and women. The first is inspiration. I've had so many role models, including the late David Pico, but it's the strong women in my life who have inspired me most. My grandmother was a senior Ontario civil servant who helped to settle immigrants and start the Stratford Festival, while my amazing mother is a fundraising expert who's made her mark in Canada and internationally. They showed me and my sister Diana how women can combine professional achievement with significant public service and raise fantastic kids at the same time. By sharing the stories of women of every background in every realm, as the YWCA Toronto and we are all doing tonight, we will inspire more girls and women to achieve their full potential. The second thing that's helped me is support. I've had an encouraging family, phenomenal teachers and employers, and wonderful friends, advisors, and colleagues who've been absolutely critical to any impact I've had. So whether it's as a parent or a spouse, as a formal manager or an informal mentor, coworker, or friend, make sure that you are doing something to help women better reach their potential by offering your time, encouragement, learning, and advice. The final thing I've benefited from is opportunity. I've had more advantages than most people, so I've focused my career on creating more opportunities for more people through jobs, leadership roles, and business ownership, including futurepreneur Miriam Baker, who's an amazing fashion designer who made my outfit.
On Monday, I'll start creating opportunities through improved literacy, and I'll be the founding CEO of the new Canadian Children's Literacy Foundation. Thank you. I'm very excited. But whether you're sitting in classrooms or in meeting rooms or in boardrooms, take a moment to ask yourself who's missing from those rooms. The answer will invariably include women. The good news is that we can all help bring more women into these rooms by inspiring them, supporting them, and giving them opportunities to shine. Thank you so much.
And now, please welcome Christina Dory-Gray, Regional Vice President, RBC, Royal Bank, and YWCA Toronto Board Member.
Good evening. Tonight, we have the great privilege of recognizing extraordinary women who are committed to changing their futures across our city, our country, and around the globe. Change doesn't happen without commitment and dedication to sustainable programs, and that's why, as well as being a presenting sponsor of the Women of Distinction Awards, I'm also proud that RBC supports YWCA's Building Sustainable Futures program through $100,000 of financial support. Tonight, we are recognizing absolutely extraordinary women, as you have seen so far. They are driving change in our communities, and I am so honored to introduce the winner of this year's award. At 16. Toyo Ajibolade created Dunk Like a Girl, a program that combined fitness and basketball training with workshops on issues ranging from gender stereotypes to self-care to violence. What began as a one-day event soon grew to a week-long event and then a summer-long educational experience. Toyo is now a third-year marketing student at Ryerson University. And Dunk Like a Girl has evolved to Lady Ballers Camp, a nonprofit organization providing recreational and accessible basketball and sports programming to youth, primarily those from marginalized and racialized communities. Let's meet Toyo.
An inspirational role model, mentor, and coach, Toyo Ajibolade has turned the game of basketball into an empowering playing field. With leadership acumen well beyond her years, Toyo developed Lady Ballers Camp, a girl-centered organization providing sports programming to youth from marginalized and racialized communities. Toyo's goal is to be a bridge for skilled racialized women who are limited by finance and opportunity. As an aspiring young athlete, Toyo became aware of the barriers faced by racialized women. She experienced how financial requirements associated with professional sports created obstacles to success. Toyo looked at the world around her with a very critical lens, recognized the impact of gender and racial inequities, then mobilized to address this issue and create change. At 16, she was the youngest recipient of the Girls Action Foundation's Leadership Capacity Grant Program and created Dunk Like a Girl, a program combining basketball training and fitness with interactive workshops. In 2013, Toyo won the Leading Women, Leading Girls Building Community Award. In 2015, she received the Toronto Raptors Community Action Grant for Lady Ballers Camp. And in 2017, won the Citizens MVP Award for Community Service from the Toronto Raptors. Now a third-year marketing management student at Ryerson University, Toyo is committed to creating change in her community and improving the lives of others.
It is my great honor to present the 2018 Young Woman of Distinction Award to Toyo Ajibalade. As a part of her award, Toya will receive a $3,000 scholarship to help further her education and training. This scholarship is provided by the family of Juliet M. Ruby, and we thank them for their generosity. Congratulations, Toya.
Hi, everyone. There are a lot of people here. This is a truly humbling experience for me, so it's going to be a lot of gratitude. First, I'd like to thank my nominator, Joanna Williams. She's the president of the board of Lady Ballers Camp, and yeah, so without her, I wouldn't be on this stage today. So I want to thank her first of all. Yeah. I'll also like to thank YWCA Toronto and everyone involved in the selection committee for putting together such a beautiful, remarkable event and network of outstanding women, and then somehow deeming me worthy of being a part of it all. So I want to thank you all for that, first off. This entire process has been so special to me, and while it has taken me out of my comfort zone, it has allowed me to speak on the issues that matter most to me on an even larger platform, and for that, I am also extremely grateful. I also want to thank my friends and family who are actually somewhere here in the audience right now, and for supporting me in all of my antics and all my dreams. They encourage me to take risks, and they allow me to take risks, and then they encourage me to take even bigger ones. And so for all of that love and support, I owe them a lot of gratitude for that. This award would especially not be possible without the constant motivation and encouragement of all the young women and girls that I've had the pleasure of working with at Lady Ballers Camp. Yeah. There are actually a couple of them here right now in the audience, and they're honestly some of the most remarkable young people around the GTA. And yeah, being an organization that focuses on providing affordable programming for young girls and women that is also driven and led by a group of young people has had its share of obstacles. There have often been challenges with funding or finding spaces and even just be recognized as a youth-led organization. And that's why these types of events and spaces are extremely important in validating our work as women and our voices as leaders. It's important to continue encouraging these spaces so we can hear more diverse stories, have more inclusive voices in our dominant discourse, and then we can create more comprehensive changes across all industries. All the women that I've had the pleasure of sharing this stage with, and receiving this award with have all made important contributions to their diverse fields, contributions that have inspired not just girls and women, but entire communities. And that's why Melinda Gates said, when you invest in women, you invest in the people who invest in everyone else. So let us all continue to support each other, motivate each other, and uplift each other, so we as a community can make a better present and an even better future for every single person in it. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to everyone so far. Malika Radisik, Zanena Akande, Marcy Ponte, Julia Deans, and Toyo Ajibolade. Yes! Amazing women that we've met so far tonight. And before we get to the last few awards, I just want to remind everyone that one of the reasons that we gather here is to support the work of YWCA Toronto. So to tell you more about this, please welcome Rachel Huckle, Senior Vice President of Health and Wellness at Shoppers Drug Mart.
Thank you, Nanaba. Please don't let my stack of papers scare you. It's a size 22 font, so I can actually see. So what an inspiring evening thus far. I am super proud to be here this evening representing Shoppers Drug Mart, and really that's because at Shoppers Drug Mart, our support for women has never been stronger. Our community investment program, Shoppers Love You, is committed to being a part of every woman's support network and helps initiatives focused on advancing women's health in body, mind, and spirit. In fact, since we initiated our commitment to women's health, it's almost been 8 years now, Shoppers Drug Mart has contributed over $80 million in support of women's health initiatives. Really benefiting thousands and thousands of Canadian women. This commitment is a natural fit with YWCA Toronto and the Women of Distinction Awards. In addition to sponsoring the awards, Shoppers Drug Mart is also partnering with YWCA Toronto with its volunteer and other community programs. In fact, the last 3 years, colleagues at Shoppers Drug Mart have also taken action by donating over 315 volunteer hours and making and serving over 1,000 meals for participants at YWCA Toronto First Stop Emergency Shelter. And I'm just going to pause there for a second because we have a couple tables here from Shoppers Drug Mart, and I had the chance this evening to speak to a number of people around the table. And one of the things that resonated loudly for me was that they each have received back so much more than what they actually gave by volunteering. And so it was very rewarding for them. And I have to tell you, there's immense pride for me in speaking with my colleagues in that there is a bias towards action and supporting the YWCA Toronto. So with that said, thank you. Tonight, we challenge all of you to take action as well. As tonight's Create Change sponsor, when you make a donation to YWCA Toronto this evening, Shoppers Love You will proudly match every donation dollar for dollar up to $40,000. For women and families escaping violence on low incomes or without adequate supports, YWCA Toronto is a lifeline, providing safe, affordable shelter and housing, empowering training and employment services, and transformative girls' leadership development programs. There should be a video.
My name is Olivia. I live at the YWCA Women's Shelter. I was kicked out with my 2.5-year-old, harassed by my ex-husband. He reported me to the immigration for having no status, so I was facing deportation. He tortured me. I was tormented. I couldn't even think straight, just sitting in the room and just crying. And I don't know who to call, right? I don't know. I don't even have the courage to even step out of the house. He said, take your son with you. And I was like, oh my God, I have nothing. I really have nothing. I just took my son, a bag like you know, a duffel bag with his medicine on it and a few diapers, that's it.
My name is Samantha and I stay at a permanent residence at Elm Street. I was not equipped at all coping-wise to deal with certain things. So I started doing drugs and acting out. I was in and out of hospitals. I really struggled with not liking myself and doing everything I could to show people that I didn't like myself. Without First Stop, I don't know where I would be. There's a lot of things that I don't think I would be in right now because I started there. So school, housing, it just set me on a good path. There was a lot of good staff there that really guided me and helped me to educate me on what the right choices were and to give me that option that, okay, it's safe for me to do those things.
My name is Georgina and I am here in this store is my store, and my story began with YWCA as I came to Canada as a new immigrant. I came from Zimbabwe in 2006. When we came here, we knew nobody. That's why I said my life started from YWCA. It's like they became a torch to me, or a light to show me how to move about, because I didn't even know whom to ask, or where can I go to do something, or what. They received me with open arms, and they introduced me to everything I needed, from teaching me how to use computers, which I was illiterate at that point in time. What I noticed is that when people go there, they go in desperate situations, be it different situations, but the way they are received, the reception they are given, the love they are shown, you feel belonging. It's like a family. They treat you like somebody who is worthy.
Everyone was so nice to me, and they were so caring. For me, growing up, I had a support system that was mainly focused around men. So like having a girls-only space here right now, it helped build me as a person, mentally and physically.
In the mentorship program, we talked about stress and how to relieve stress. And we also talked about different things we could help other girls with, like bullying.
I think it's just given me like really strong values, and it kind of took out the step of finding myself. It was really easy because I saw people who I aspired to be like. I feel like the entire programming is just all creating a support system and a second home.
It was scary. It was, you don't know what you're gonna go through. You don't know how many women is gonna be there. You don't know whether your child is gonna get along with them. But the staff and everyone there makes it so comfortable. We have counseling for women. We do have program for kids, which is nice. I love it because my son never even feel that we lived in a shelter. Now I am a permanent resident, thank God. And I have the sole custody, and thanks to the Y, because they are the one who, the YWCA is the one who is there for me, like every step of the way. Like they never, I never felt abandoned. They were like, they're not like behind me, they were side by side with me, and that was one thing that means so much.
You changed my life.
You changed my life.
You changed my life. You changed my life. You changed my
You
life.
changed my life. You changed my life.
You changed my life, and I know it will never be the same.
Please join me in welcoming Olivia to the stage.
Thank you. I promise I will never cry, but here I am, I'm crying. Thank you so much. I am happy to be here tonight to share my story. I want you all to know that sometimes a woman needs help. But once she has given help, she realizes that she's strong and she can help others. I hope my story shows you how important your contribution to the YWCA to help create change for women and girls. This is my time. Thank you.
Olivia, thank you for sharing your story. I don't know about you, but I got goosebumps watching that video and listening to Olivia. So to everyone here tonight, please join us in supporting women and girls in our city. Your generous support tonight will ensure YWCA Toronto can continue to deliver 32 high-impact, life-changing programs to some of our city's most vulnerable. There are about 1,000 of us in here tonight. There are a lot of people in here. When you look around, there are a lot of people, and that means a lot of opportunity to empower women. So no contribution is too large or too small, but do try to make the largest donation you can, please. Think, the more women and girls we can help, even just a little bit, the more we will make a direct difference in someone's life in your lives and in our communities. Again, you can double your impact tonight thanks to Shoppers Love You, and you can create change too. So once you've filled in the donation card, please put it in the big envelope on your table. There are pens. If people didn't take the pens, there's pens in the middle of your table. Please take a moment to fill out, give generously, and put your donation cards in the large envelope. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Please make sure that you put your donation cards into the large envelopes on your table. A volunteer will come around to collect the envelope at the end of the evening. And now, please welcome back Rachel Huckle, Senior Vice President of Health and Wellness at Shoppers Drug Mart.
All right. Thank you, everyone. So as an organization that stands firmly for women's health, I actually feel like I need to give it another minute because people are so enthused about donating and I don't want to distract. So as an organization that stands firmly for women's health, it's particularly exciting for us to help celebrate women who have achieved incredible efforts in advancing the health of women. Dr. Pat Armstrong is an accomplished sociologist, researcher, advocate, and professor with a formidable career spanning almost 50 years. Pat has brought a gender lens to the examination of the Canadian healthcare system and labor market, uncovering barriers facing women as workers, patients, and healthcare providers.
Dr. Pat Armstrong has challenged the boundaries of gender equity throughout her 50-year career. An accomplished sociologist, researcher, advocate, and teacher, Pat is also unapologetically feminist. Pat is a distinguished research professor in sociology and a fellow of the Royal Society of Canada. Her passion for healthcare policy, women, and work has led to substantial improvements for women and girls of all ages. Her published work is rivaled only by her influence with domestic and international legislators, policymakers, community organizations, and courts who rely on her expert knowledge. Pat's 1978 book, The Double Ghetto: Canadian Women and Their Segregated Work, set the standard for understanding the systemic discrimination women face. She held a Canadian Health Services Research Foundation chair, has been chair of Women and Healthcare Reform, and was acting director of the National Network on Environments and Women's Health. Currently, she's on track to improve the quality of work and life in long-term residential care. In 2007, Pat received the Ontario Health Coalition's Ethel Mead Award for Excellence in Research in the Public Interest. She is a board member of the Canadian Health Coalition and the Centre for Policy Alternatives, as well as co-chair for the Canadian Association of University Teachers Equity Committee. Throughout her career, Pat has reached far beyond academia to champion the interests of women and girls, and exemplifies what it means to be a feminist public intellectual.
It is my pleasure to present the 2018 Women of Distinction Award to Dr. Pat Armstrong.
Years. I was a baby when I started. Thank you, and as others have said, it's a particular honor to receive this award from an organization that has done so much for the lives of women and girls. My mother said, there's only one thing that's impossible, and that's putting toothpaste back in the tube. And it was a message that was a special. I've never tried it, actually. I mean, you could all go home and try it tonight. But it was a message that was particularly important for a girl like me who was born with a physical disability. Since I first became involved in these kinds of issues in the early 1960s, which is actually more than 50 years ago, there is a lot that has changed, an incredible amount, and we have learned that a lot of things thought to be impossible for women are indeed possible. And along the way, I've learned from and with women, many of whom are in this room and are way too many to mention, that there are important lessons to take away. And one of them is that it takes us working very hard together to make the possible, and that we have to continue to do it, and especially to do it with organizations like the Toronto YWCA. Another is that we still have a long way to go, and that many of our gains can be turned into losses. And so we have to be vigilant, and we have to keep working together. And finally, we need to celebrate, as we are tonight, our many gains at the same time as we realize that women's work is never done. Thank you.
And now, please welcome Bessie Triantopoulos, YWCA Toronto Board President.
We'll have to adjust this again. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. All of the women we are honoring tonight, as well as the Women of Distinction alumni who have been acknowledged over the last 38 years, have made a profound difference in the lives of women and girls. I'm sure that there are more inspiring women that we all know. There are probably many of those women in this room with us tonight. Please consider nominating a woman who has inspired you for a 2019 Women of Distinction Award. You will find more information in this evening's program book, or you can visit our website at ywcatoronto.org. Of course, we'd like to thank TD Bank Group, our nomination sponsor. This past year, all of the Women of Distinction alumni have been welcomed into the newly formed Circle of Distinction. The Circle motivates and inspires its members to lead with purpose and continue their vital work of advancing women and girls in our community and worldwide. This collective brings together 38 years of women of distinction, who together have the power to change the world for women and girls. The Distinction Fund, which was created alongside the Circle, provides opportunities for more women and girls to become women of distinction, and is sustained by the generosity of Circle members and their supporters. I would like to invite the Circle of Distinction members, all of the Women of Distinction alumni who are here with us tonight, please stand up so that we can recognize and applaud your commitment to women and girls once again. Now, I would like to ask Dr. Lisa Barnoff, Dean of Community Services at Ryerson University, to join me in presenting the very special President's Award to our next Woman of Distinction.
Thank you very much. Driven by her unwavering commitment to social justice, Lynn Factor has devoted over 35 years to improving services and programs for society's most vulnerable children. Since graduating from the School of Social Work at Ryerson, Lynn has held various roles dedicated to improving the lives of children and youth with organizations such as the Durham Children's Aid Society, Boost Child and Youth Advocacy Center, Covenant House, and the Children's Aid Society Foundation, to name just a few. At Ryerson, she has served as a member of the Faculty of Community Services Dean's Advisory Council since 2009. She's also been honored with an Alumni Achievement Award, which recognized her achievements in the community, and the G. Raymond Chang Outstanding Volunteer Award for service to the university. Lynn was recently named to the Order of Canada, and I'm proud that today, by nominating Lynn, Ryerson is part of continuing to recognize her incredible achievements with the YWCA's Woman of Distinction President's Award.
A resounding voice for children and youth, a fierce advocate for social justice, and a remarkable philanthropist. Lynn Factor is a trailblazer. A perfect balance of expertise and social influence. Lynn carves pathways to a safer world for children, girls in particular. As a former child welfare practitioner, Lynn developed an expertise in supporting child victims of sexual violence. Fueled by her drive for justice, she now chairs the Sex Trafficking Advisory Committee at Covenant House, a community collaborative approach to confront this threat to vulnerable women and girls. Lynn's leadership in matters of social justice is far-reaching. As past chair of the Board of Directors at the Children's Aid Foundation of Canada, she received countless public accolades. Currently, she sits on the Faculty of Community Services Dean's Advisory Council at Ryerson University and works with Boost Child and Youth Advocacy Center. Our community is enriched by Lynn's advocacy for the most vulnerable children. Lynn leads by example through her social engagement and unprecedented levels of giving. Lynn and her husband Sheldon Inwintash's philanthropic contributions to social work education have been marked with unparalleled generosity. The University of Toronto's Factor Inwintash Faculty of Social Work bears their name. A fitting testimony to a woman who has devoted her career to improving the lives of vulnerable children and youth. Such contributions will translate into generations of social workers dedicated to advancing equity and justice in our communities.
Sorry, but I will have to use my glasses. Okay. What makes a young girl get trapped into sex trafficking? Is she vulnerable? Yes. Is she groomed, paid attention to, lavished with gifts, and then tricked into slavery? Yes. Is she afraid to tell? Afraid she will be beaten or possibly murdered? Yes. Does she believe the trafficker is her boyfriend and things will soon be great? Absolutely. Police estimate that thousands of local underage girls and young women are being trafficked every day. Ontario has become a major hub for sexual violence and human trafficking. Like most people, I was shocked to learn that most of these victims are Canadian-born. Sex trafficking is right under our noses. The perpetrators are devious and sophisticated, and the victims are often young girls, just like someone you may know. The victims are from all races, all religions, and all socioeconomic groups. They are lured in public places, schools, malls, online. They are made to feel important, mattered, and cared about, and then they are entrapped into a brutal and terrifying life of slavery. There are simply not enough resources to give to this population. Community agencies advocate on their behalf, but more needs to be done. The YWCA steadfast commitment to providing emergency housing and trauma counseling is instrumental to help sex trafficking victims. Its work is critical and it needs and deserves our support. I am a believer in a shared destiny, that our society can be positively shaped through a collaborative approach. Together with the best efforts of wonderful organizations like the Children's Aid Foundation of Canada, Boost Child and Youth Advocacy Center, Covenant House Toronto, and the YWCA, we can confront the issue of human trafficking and give the victims the missing piece, hope. I am fortunate to be surrounded by inspirational people who are my source of hope. I would like to thank my husband, Sheldon Inwintash, for his unflagging belief and support in my work. Thank you also to my children for being here, and to Nicole and to her husband Phil, Raquel, and Jackson, who have always been my motivation to work towards building a better tomorrow. I'd also like to thank, and I thought it was a secret, but I guess it wasn't, Mohammed Lashemi, President of Ryerson University, and Lisa Barnoff, Dean of the Faculty of Community Services at Ryerson, for their very thoughtful and unexpected nomination. Finally, thank you to the YWCA for this honor and for the opportunity to bring focus to critical issues impacting girls and women. In accepting the YWCA's Woman of Distinction President's Award, I do so in celebration and acknowledgement of all that the YWCA does for women. They are agents of hope, agents of support, agents of change, and of hope. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Doris Chan, board member, YWCA Toronto.
Good evening. Before I introduce our last woman of distinction, on behalf of YWCA Toronto, I would like to thank the many people who have made this evening possible. Thanks to all our guests, sponsors, and volunteers for joining us tonight. We're particularly grateful for our presenting sponsor, Sun Life Financial, who has been supporting YWCA Toronto for over 30 years. Sun Life, thank you for your commitment. We're fortunate to have champion sponsors who are so loyal and committed to supporting the work of YWCA Toronto. Shoppers Drug Mart, Elmwood Spa, Bangkok Garden, and TD Bank Group. You are a huge part of this event. We also thank our patron sponsors, Globe and Mail, Willis Towers Watson, KPMG, RBC Royal Bank, and Ryerson University. As well as all our tribute and future leaders sponsors who are here tonight. Thank you to our supporters who bought tables and tickets, many of whom have been coming to the Women of Distinction Awards for years. And again, thank you to the nearly 150 volunteers who have made this evening possible. The loyalty and commitment of our sponsors, guests, and volunteers are what make this night a success. You're helping women transform their lives. Now, I present our final woman of distinction this evening, Margaret Hancock. Margaret was the first woman appointed Warden of Hart House at the University of Toronto. This assignment was not only momentous because she was a woman, but because her work left a long-lasting and positive legacy. In all of her positions, Margaret has acted with conviction and been at the forefront of transformative change. She has understood that true equity and justice would not be reached without understanding the lived experience of women who are underserved, marginalized, or excluded by the barriers of race, income, or gender identity.
Guided by her core beliefs of equity, inclusion, and social justice, Margaret Hancock's work has created a ripple effect of inclusivity. Margaret has the unique ability to harness the power of collective action to improve the lives of individuals. Her effective consensus building battles oppression and creates solidarity with social justice networks. In 1997, Margaret was the first woman appointed Warden of Hart House at the University of Toronto. Her work at UFT left a long-lasting and positive legacy. The Hart House Lecture was renamed the Hancock Lecture to honor her impact. While at Hart House, she transformed the traditionally exclusive institution into one that was fully accessible and inclusive. Margaret is now the Executive Director of Family Service Toronto, where she provides frontline services that address poverty, violence against women, elder abuse, and mental health issues. She was the executive director of Toronto's Choice in Health Reproductive Health Clinic and served as Oxfam Canada's board chair for 6 years. As a member and co-chair of the board of directors at Sistering, she also addressed issues of women's poverty and homelessness. She understands that true equity and justice cannot be reached without understanding the lived experience of underserved, marginalized, or excluded women. Her leadership and philanthropy reverberates through the fibers of all the organizations she has supported. In all of Margaret's work, one aspect is unchanging. She is resolute in her commitment to make sure justice is not just for some, but for all.
It is my honor to present the 2018 Women of Distinction Award for Social Justice to Margaret Hancock.
I'm so grateful to YWCA Toronto, its board of directors and staff, for creating this wonderful event each year, for giving us a glorious evening together to celebrate women transforming lives, for showering light on the collective impact of the things we all do every day to make the world a better place. I'm deeply grateful to my family and my friends and my colleagues who are here with me tonight, who support me every day, and who inspire me with their wisdom, their courage, and their generosity. Thank you. Awards like this invite us to reflect on who inspires us, what motivates us. My awakening came as a young adult when someone I admired very much asked me what I thought about the state of justice and inequality in the world. Why are things the way they are? Do they have to be that way? Is it fair? Is it respectful? Can it be better? And if things can be better, what is my part in making that happen? My eyes and my consciousness and my conscience were opened wide. Once that happens, you can never go back. You cannot unlearn that awareness, and you cannot shake the imperative to act for social justice. With problems as monumental as gender inequality and poverty to tackle on a global scale, what can one person contribute? I have come to believe in the wisdom of the Irish proverb, grow where you are planted, and in the power of relentless incrementalism. From our place in Toronto, we as a women's movement, with the YWCA as a huge bedrock member of that community, we have fought back against injustice in its many forms. And we have fought for women's rights to universal childcare, good jobs with equal pay, the Canada Child Benefit, reproductive choice, and freedom from gender-based violence. Our persistent actions over decades have added up to meaningful change, and we have so much to celebrate tonight, as we have been doing. Even as we do this, we must remember that our work is incomplete and our victories are fragile. We cannot be complacent when we have so much hope and potential vested in the future. I look forward to continuing to join with you and the YWCA of the City of Toronto, wherever you are planted, to strive for social justice, for equity, and for inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Margaret, and to all the 2018 Women of Distinction. So as we wrap up tonight, the volunteers are going to come around and collect your Create Change donation pledges, and dessert is going to be served in the Ontario room. And coffee and tea will be in the foyer here. I just want to remind everyone that the silent auction is going to be closed at 9:30 p.m. You can have your picture taken on the red carpet sponsored by the Elmwood Spa and Bangkok Garden. And when you do leave, please grab a gift bag donated by Shoppers Drug Mart. Now, I just want to say to everyone here, thank you so much for supporting YWCA Toronto. Thank you to the volunteers. If you didn't know everyone, I'm sure that you agree that it was really inspiring to witness the commitment that everyone has to changing people's lives. So I want to thank all of the women for sharing themselves and for the work that you do. On behalf of everyone in the room this evening, congratulations once again to our 2018 Women of Distinction. Thank you and good night.